That's a tornado in Saudi Arabia. The same time when we were having ours. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. That's enough of that junk. All right, let's get to the show. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. Here we are. April 29th, 2024. This big old black round spheroid surrounded by a bunch of plasma causing a big old CME. Let me just go ahead and put this into motion. While that's loading up, thank you all for taking a moment of your precious time to be with this precious family. And it goes for the replay too. So, all right, let me get situated here. Okay, so again, here we are, April 29th, 2024. Here's our loop playing. We have a bunch of little, we saw last night at the very opening of today, those two kind of coming out and going up. And then we have more activity after that. So there's those two. We're going a little fast there. Let me slow this down a little bit. All right, so there's those two that came out and lifted up. And then we had all this going on. And then there's our big black one right there. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that big black one coming through at the end there. All kind of surrounded with plasma and everything. It's got a couple of little moons or satellites trailing with it. Ones that were out in front that, occurred before. And then ones that are trailing along down here. Those are the ones before. Some other scattered ones. And then here's our big one right there. All right, so, and you can see other stuff approaching the sun too, going what appears to be like going in towards the sun. So all kinds of eruptive activity today, and the main one I want to focus on. All right, well, first is those two that went up. We already did that, but last night. Actually, let's go ahead all the way around to the very beginning again. All right. So opening frame as we're coming out here, these are the two right here that come out and kind of go up. All right. Then we have something else right there. Another one. See this hump right here? See plasma coming over and streaming over it right there. So there's a bigger one back here. Let me scooch this down a little bit. I'll just use the arrow. It's a little bit better. There's flow back here going over something right there. So we had those other moons. Now watch. Let me just back up a little bit. You see that? See the instrument reacting to that round object, the flow going over it. You see it moving out of frame. Other stuff coming out here and here. And then here comes our event. At the same time, another little satellite moon that's, orbiting this thing that's out in front interacts first. Then here's our main object right in there. And then a secondary one right here. And all kinds of other little satellites around it. So let me back up again. All right. When I did that, you can see there's two black spheroids. There's this one right here and a bigger one in back right there. You can totally see the flow going off the edge of this back one here. And then you can see the separation with this plasma in between. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on that frame right there, because that's quite a capture right there. Oh, let's get it just right. Oh, yeah. Okay, and then as we progress through it, this one dissipates kind of back into the distance, and this one passes closer to the camera, or to the satellite, which has the camera on it. All right, so watch as we go. Boom, boom. Here, let's. All right, back it up a little bit. Now remember, these things are out a distance away from the sun, and as they near it and pass near it, we get these plasma exchanges. Boy, that's a hell of a shot right there. Hopefully you guys can see these two independent black spheroids. All right, now I'm going to put that back into motion there. It'll kind of stay zoomed in right on that spot right there. There we go. Wow. Here, we'll slow it down just a tad. Well, no, that was okay. Amazing. Amazing. We're seeing all kinds of different stuff. These two that come out at first and slip up and then, shift upwards. And then this bigger object with the other one in front of it right there. Wow. Let me just get that one screen capture again. That shot's pretty good. And that one. And as we go backwards, you can see these things, how they're lined up. I mean, there's no mistaking what's going on there. Well, I guess there is. A lot of people don't believe this is really happening, but it is. And coming up with all these different excuses or theories instead of addressing what's right before your eyes. It's like running, face first into a big old elephant and then trying to deny that you're face to face with an elephant. Maybe it's a big tree or a big tree trunk or something instead. I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge of this as well, okay? But I can see it. Hopefully you can too. It's amazing stuff. Scary stuff. Okay. That's why we do the spiritual report at the end of this, because the information we deal with at this channel is so disturbing. You need that spiritual support, that thing at the end of the show. Because when you're looking at real truths here that are disturbing, like I said, that's why everybody else will come up with excuses. Oh, it's got to be this, it's got to be that, because they can't, they're in denial. They can't face the facts that what they're looking at. This can't be true. This can't be possible. Well, you're looking at it. All right, so there's our activity today. All right, quite some activity, wouldn't you say? I'm going to have to screen capture that one and put it in with the other ones, with those two together and the plasma right in between them right there. That was a hell of a shot. Okay, let's move on, though. We got other stuff to do here. So let's get on over here, Solar Ham. Let me zoom in on the GOES X-ray here. Slide it on over, pull it on up. And as you can see today, we had, this doesn't really represent what we saw today. But here's those, that long duration M flare that we saw at the very beginning with those two objects that shifted up like that. That's this event. A couple little pops and squeaks and stuff like this. But now we have another bigger event going into tomorrow. Shall we go see? No? Well, we're going to try anyway. There's some data now. And let me just zoom out because we're a little zoomed in still. Probably not much data. Oh, we got 27, 30 frames. Okay, but no big event. I guess this is the M flare that's showing up right now. And if we back up here. Well, look at this. Oops. Oh, wow. All right, let me try to capture this again. All right, you can see the little black object right here on that side. That seems to be a trailing object, or maybe it's the ghost image of this one, because we do get that on this instrument. What I'm looking at here is this big V-shaped wedge of a shadow right here. There's an object sitting right there. See it right here on the instrumentation. Let me get zoomed in on this. Now, everybody kind of look at this as being a split in the two spires. But as you can see, I went in a little too tight there. But as you can see, that V-split is... there's an object in there splitting that flow. And you can see it make a big, deep cut into the instrumentation and come back out. This little black stripe goes way back into these little X's right here. And that's a big, deep dent in our red instrumentation, indicating where our object is. And you can see over on this side how it has cut a wedge into the flow of the plasma coming out of that region right there. Then as we continue on, whoops. I'll try to do this all on the red side here carefully. Okay, so you can see it sitting there bathing in that plasma, cutting a wedge and separating it. And then we have an event go right past there. And there's that shadow at the very beginning again. See, there's something there. There's an object like stationary there that's cutting that. All right, that's our event going into tomorrow already right there. All right, so let's pull back out of this. One more. Okay, so here we are. M flare potential 35. X flare potential should be just a tad bit higher. We still have this this 3654 that's spitting out all these flares and stuff is still beta gamma delta. All right, so the potential for an X flare out of it is still there. I would put that up maybe 10%. Okay, not a bunch higher because our indices are very low right now. So it would take quite a punch to get an X flare to, jump from the C all the way up to the X. If we were running, high indices up here by M range, then it doesn't take much to get an X flare. So we're down at the C floor. So, but this is a very dangerous region. So that potential is still there. Meanwhile, over here, you saw the lower indices. Our geomagnetic forecast for the next 3 days is pretty smooth, all right? No geomagnetic storms. Here we look at our auroras and our KP index. You can see that it's been well below 2 here most of the time. So a big break as far as absorbing radiation from the sun. Okay, secondary and somewhat stronger M flare. Reaching M3.7 was detected around 3654. The coronal dimming is slightly evident that the latest imagery, courtesy of SDO, meaning a weak coronal mass ejection, may be generated. That was the same as last night. Get on over here. Start track-a-lacking. You see this one very faint moving out of the frame. It's not even much to zoom in on. Over here, still showing an impact around the second. We already viewed that one last night, so not much to really go into detail there. All right, this is the 3654. It's still within range, and it's very complex. So let's see if we get a bigger image of that. Well, you can see it's still got multiple sunspots and stuff, so it's very, very active. And since we saw that double pass or the pass of those two black objects there, usually they come in threes. Well, I've noticed that, like, when we see the first one go by, the next day we have a second one go by, and the next day we have another one go by. So, I want to get to the other day. That's what I'm trying to do, to this day right here. All right, so while that's loading up, we'll come over here. All righty. Excuse me. So here we are back to the X flare, and an X flare could be in the offing. Active sunspot 3654 has developed an unstable beta gamma delta. Okay, that's the same we were just talking about. The beta gamma delta magnetic field that harbors energy for powerful X-class solar flares. At the moment, the sunspot is crackling with lesser C and M-class flares. These may be dissipating an energy required for a larger eruption. Okay, but it still exists. That capacity for an X flare still exists until that sucker rotates out of our direction. Meanwhile, here we got the hole in the sky. Last week, Andreas Coleman of Switzerland woke up and saw a 22-degree sun halo caused by the ice crystals floating over the snowy landscape. His iPhone 11 photo of the phenomenon captured something skywatchers often overlook: the hole in the sky effect. And then they go into talk about how this region inside the little rainbow is darker than the rest of the sky. And right here, this image, they actually got it with a dark cloud over the sun at the moment. The sun's illuminating the clouds down below it, but it makes it look like there's no sun in this one. Like it's not a sun halo, it's just a hole in the sky. But it's not. The sun's right in there, and there's just a very dark cloud covering it, illuminating the ones out front here that aren't in that cloud, in the shadow of it, making it appear, maybe the sun's down here or whatever. But it's another sun halo, and then they go in to describe how the 22-degree angle sun halo works. Okay, come over there and read that. We're moving on now. over here to the Schumann. Here's our event that we went through last night and yesterday. Okay, a little bit of grinding down at this level right here. Remember this line right here, which is I believe is magma at the bottom of the crust. Is right around this frequency when lava is grinding against the bottom side of the crust. It also flows. You got to remember lava isn't just sitting still, it's flowing in a direction too. So when it rubs up against the underside of the crust, it enhances those frequencies right there, I believe. Because when you hit the crust, the frequencies have to slow down. The crust is thicker than the magma. So when these waves that are propagating out from the core, coming up through the magma, when they hit a denser substance like the crust, they slow down. And these are all your lower frequencies from about that line up. So I think maybe this line right here that we always kind of see might be right where our crust, the bottom side of the crust is. And when this fires up and our regular Schumann has kind of dropped, notice it was just regular green right here, yet it's very strong just in this line. Not like this, just in that line right there. So that tells me that that's got to be some barrier region right there where we're seeing harmonic tremor type effect of magma flowing on the underside of the crust. And now we've had a bunch of pressure, okay? And you can see it slowly released, but it wasn't like a big earthquake happened and then it all of a sudden stopped. We just had a gradual release of the grinding, and it's still kind of grinding right there. You see how that just kind of dissipated but let off, like diverted and let off right in here. So I believe that we still have pressure down below. The grinding effect out the core barrier, shell barrier line has stopped, but we still have a bunch of magma pushing up underneath the underside of the crust. I believe that's what we're seeing right in there. Now, let's come over here. You can be the judge of that too as well. Everybody's got their own theories on that, and I'm going to tell you that our planet has a core that spins inside of a shell. It's much like a little electric motor with a shaft and little magnets, and when you spin that little motor, it generates you put electricity in, it spins the motor. If you disengage the battery and just spun the shaft with your hand, electricity would come out those wires. So, much like that, this is how our core works. The core spins inside the shell and generates a magnetic field that surrounds our planet. It emanates from the ground, goes on out to a certain range that it reaches. And then that magnetic field has a frequency at which it hums at. All right. It's like you go by a power plant or any kind of transformer, you will hear a hum. Well, the Earth's hum, or the heartbeat of the Earth, is the 7.83 hum generated by the dynamo down below. Okay, moving on. Here's our upper jet stream. Got kind of a split jet right now. Southern branch going across Mexico. This other part coming in from the Pacific Northwest, kind of diving in and going up towards Canada. We have a little ridge right here that's pushing stuff down and then bringing it back up here. All right, this is the trailing edge of our storm right there. There's the last little bit of it right there. Okay, and then you can see the big low that it was from is still spinning out there. Oh, I want to get now to the SO2, and we'll take the winds off for a moment. Okay, here's our SO2 emissions for right now. Look at this. Very patchy. There's like a spot right in here where there is none. Look at that. That's weird. Usually we're seeing, even distribution, not these patches like this where there's just none. maybe the heavy rains in this area have plugged up the water, and the flooding in this region right here from the rains may have plugged up some of the perforations in the ground. Little air canals that air can rise up through cracks and little seams and work its way up to the surface. Well, maybe all those little holes at the surface have been plugged by all the water in the region, because we have seen flooding in this whole region right here, and I bet that's the reason why we're not seeing a bunch of SO2 coming out of here. I'm almost 100% sure that's what it's from, is because all the flooding right in that region has plugged up the little perforations, and we're not seeing much emissions through that area right now. But otherwise, we're still looking at a country divided here. One side bleeding out, the other side clearing up. All right. Let's get on over to China here. They're still having their issues. That's at nighttime. Let's go back during the see. They got issues during their daytime. So a lot of pressure in that region. It ebbs and flows with the day and the night. So, also I want to go down here. Check out Java. Okay, all filled in, nice and dark purple. Lots of SO2 coming out of that region because of all the pressure down below. All right, we saw a big earthquake off the shore there the other day, so our relief valve there doing its job, relieving a lot of the pressure in the region via the gas and earthquakes and stuff like that. Let me come on over here, put it back on our time again. All right, so all the way down the coast here, our fulcrum point, pretty defined, crisp, clear, very dark. You can see this other one up here. These three usually, and this one's not so much, but look at this. We have another one up here now. So we have like four good little, well, imagine like a pinhole in a balloon that's letting air out, just a small amount. But it is a perforation in the surface where these gases can escape, and especially at the fulcrum point right there. Okay. All the way down the coast, still having that issue. Now we need to get over here to another very important issue. Our sandstorms. Ongoing sandstorm. I'm going to put the wind on it first. Okay, there we go. You can see all these wind currents are now, instead of taking it way up in here, they've kind of shifted. Now they're pulling stuff out kind of to the Atlantic again. But you can see most of northern Africa is just one big sandstorm, except for maybe this region right up in there. A little bit over here, most of the northern Africa is one big sandstorm. Okay, so here we have another one growing here in Saudi Arabia, well, just outside of Yemen and Oman. We still have this one up here at the Gobi Desert going on. This one over here by the Caspian seems to have weakened a little bit, so, but there's your ongoing sandstorms. It's been going on since November of last year. Something is wrong. Moving on. Where was I going to move on to? No, we're done? Okay. Let's get on over to the earthquakes then. All right, quite the earthquake report to do. So let's dive on in. As you can see here in our deep region, we have a new quake, boundary quake, right there, brand new. But we're going to start here at our deep quakes first. 4.7 down at 388. That's not super deep. 4.3 down at 567. Now there's our deep quake right there, and it's a mid-range, well, a little lower than a mid-range 4. 4.3. What's going on here? Mid-range 4 here, down at 166. So there's our deep quake with a 4.3, and then we had a 4.7 that's just a tad bit up higher in the strata from it. So those two combined right there is going to put that 5 energy, at the surface. So let's come over and find out what this is. 5.1 at the surface right there. Come on over here. We got a, please. 5.2 at the surface here at Vanuatu. Another one here in this section has been very quiet lately, but another one here, a 4.8 down at 86. It's almost a 5 right there. 4.5, mid-range 4 at the surface there. Okay, nothing by Java right now, but look up here by Sumatra. There's a 4.6 right, well, it's not right on the boundary. Here's these little islands that are right off the plate boundary. So right in there. Okay, backing out and back over here. So for mid-range 4, we come up here. There's 4.3 at 37, 4.4 at 11. Our weak spot here where we had our big quake and swarm following, there's roughly a 5 right there. Mid-range 4 right there. Nothing at this fulcrum point, but let's go tap into Taiwan here. 4.2. We come back over and there we go. Forgot to do this part. While we were at Taiwan doing the quake, I wanted to come over here. Notice it's a little dimmer, not as bright yellow. It's turning more to orange now, so not as intense heat in this area. It's still happening though, but not as intensely as we saw before. And our quake swarm type event is tapering off, and now we only have one quake today. This is a 4.2 down at 25. Okay, so we had what, 5 to 7 quakes the other day, 4 yesterday, 2, and then now down to 1. So, the energy is kind of dissipating and tapering off there. Meanwhile, up here, we have a 4.4 at the surface there. Nothing around Japan. Up here in the Kuril Islands, though, 4.3 down at 151. Let me pull back a little bit more. Right off the Kamchatka is a 4.7 down at 49. I don't see much energy has made it over this or to the fulcrum point, but we do have quake activity over here, so let's get her done. 3.6 right there at a depth of 10, 2.8. Up here, Idaho, 2.8. Down there, 2.7. So, pretty quiet around this part of the Pacific Rim. Here we have a 5.1 down at 142. Is that on land? Is it right in the weak zone there? Oh, no, that's a little further in. Down at 142. What we got here? Volcano or something? No, we have a town. Okay. Oh, there's Jen. I haven't seen you in a while. All right. So 5.1 down at 142. This is interesting here. We'll have to keep an eye on that area right there, because I thought maybe that'd be in the weak zone or, right on shore, but that's a little further inland. It's a different type of quake there. 4.4 down at 36 there. Coming down here, we have a 4.6 there at the surface and a 4.4 down at 15. And I believe that's about all she wrote for that. Oh, wait. This one here was a 4.8 by Myanmar. Up here by Italy or Greece. Good. This is what I was hoping to see. Some energy being released in this area. A 4.1 down at 44. That's not enough, though. 4.2 down at 13 in Romania. There's a new little spot here, too, to watch. These are diverse quakes. They're not in your usual spots that we're used to seeing. Normal plate boundary activity, fulcrum point activity, like that. These other ones are a little odd. They're a little off. They're in different spots. They're a little harder to explain sometimes. And new weak spots is what they are. New weak spots forming. Let me get out that one. This. Clear out some of these old instruments here. And everybody say a prayer for the volcano page. Here we go. All right, Lord, let this volcano page work for us, please. Cleared out the computer so it will work nice for us, please. All right, because we have some important volcano activity going on. And I don't need maps and driving directions. I need a volcano report. Oh. All right, well, meantime, while we're waiting for that, we had 33 that are erupting, 20 in warning, 29 in unrest. Here we go. The 30th, Popo, Semeru, Rong, Sangay, Luatobi, all the regular players. All right, so Luatobi today, 6,000 feet. Semeru, explosive activity continues. Volcanic ash advisory warned about a volcanic ash plume that rose up to 14,000 feet. Here's a nice shot. Pyroclastic flow from Raum. That's not it. Okay, can we scroll, please, Lord? Let me scroll. Come on. All right, well, while we're waiting for that, magnificent ash plume and pyroclastic flow from Raum volcano following another powerful eruptive episode last night. Satellite image. Okay, there it goes. All right, moving on. We just read this magnificent ash plume from Raung. All right, so Popocatépetl going off to 20,000 feet. Sangay ash advisory. Sabancaya, 22,000 feet. You just missed a regular report. You haven't missed much. Not too much going on right now. So Sabancaya, 22,000. We'll get you here in the 29th. Bang this out. We'll do the weather report, and then we'll move on to the spiritual report. Okay, Shibaluj. Elevated seismic activity. Okay, we saw that graph last night. Shibaluj in the Kamchatka. Still going off. Ibu, 10,000 feet. A bunch of satellite images. I want details, not pictures. Okay, 10,000 feet out of that one. Semeru, 14,000 feet. Raung, usually 10,000 or so. Flight level. What? No, that can't be right. That'd be 41,000 feet. No. Come on now, let me move. Popocatépetl no VA, Fuego, 14,000 feet. Poas, Sangay, 23,000. Reventador, no report. Sabancaya, 26. This Apuyacodon Calais in Chile. And where is the one that we just had Raul go ballistic here? Yeah, that is correct. 41,000 feet. That's a huge blast. Where's the video on it, man? All right, well, we've had a huge blast again here out of Raung. Want more details on this. All right. Well, we'll have to get into that later. Another report here with more details. We've had a big blast out of Rome. It's probably one of those ones that reaches up to the stratosphere again, depositing more ash way up high, which is more particulates for water droplets to adhere to, causing more rain, heavier amounts when we do have storms. All right. Okay, so here we go. There's our little loop plan for the moment. And a lot of this is all subject to change. But as you can see, we have a lot of these violent lows coming through, stirring up severe weather in different parts of the country. So it's important that we have situational awareness of what's going on and what could be coming down the pike here, right? So, whoops. Current conditions right now, it's nighttime of the 29th. We still have this storm front that's moving through there. It's not as severe anymore, but it is dumping copious amounts of moisture. Okay. Lots of flooding, and you can see that even affecting the SO2 emissions by plugging up the ground. You know, you get a big thick layer of water covering a dusty field. Well, that dusty field used to have all kinds of little perforations, little seams that went up through the cracks and everything. And well, now when it's flooded, it's waterlogged and the gas can't escape. So a lot of flooding in this region, heavy amounts of rain, even though you don't see intense or severe weather. Nighttime on the 29th, going into the morning of the 30th. So now we have severe weather in the morning here for the 30th in Tennessee, upper parts of Alabama, and up into Kentucky up there too. Okay, so it's important that you guys are aware in the morning hours. Well, this will be 7, 8-ish out there. So already having severe weather possible in the morning, dissipating by noon. There's convection. All right. So tomorrow's convection is going to be up here in Minnesota, this low, southwest quadrant here in Minnesota. Possible little chances up here in New York and stuff right around there, but nothing too bad. Okay, it's important you stay on top of this, though. Now, this is the nighttime of the 30th. Convection at night. Nocturnal thunderstorms. And you see this on the backside of this low right here, this severe weather. That's where you're going to get your possible rotation because this whole storm's rotating right there. So if you're having severe weather on the rotation of the storm, that enhances your helicity, your chances for vorticity, for rotation. Then you can see as this line drops down here, we have these pop-ups that are coming up through here again, and it's been watching for the last couple of days how dangerous these pop-ups can be, especially if they train right after another. They go over the same town, another storm builds and goes over the same spot. So here we are, nighttime tomorrow night. Okay, most of the day is going to be okay, a little bit in the morning here, most of the day during the noontime, but then by convection, nighttime, there's the morning of the 1st, noon, convection, nighttime. All right, another nocturnal event, this time down in Texas, Oklahoma border area right there. That goes through the morning hours. Now we're seeing this nighttime morning convection activity happening instead of blossoming during the daytime from the sun, causing the boiling of the clouds and the convection. We're having cold, warm air collisions causing their own type of convection without the sun. Okay, this is a different type of convection without the sun's enhancement. Different type of weather. These are air masses colliding. Okay, so this air mass collides during the convection of May 1st. At the nighttime, it starts to blossom. Okay, we're blossoming at night now. When the air gets cold at night and it hits this warm, moist air, then it convects. So we're having nighttime convection, morning convection. Noontime, the 2nd, still intense convection down here, very scattered along this line, very dangerous, touchy situation. Not as dangerous as before, but don't let this, when it's not a perfect comma-shaped squall line, don't let this zigzag maneuver right here fool you either. This could change. So, back to the morning convection of the 2nd. Noon convection. There's the afternoon or convection. Then we get into our nighttime convection. Morning of the 3rd. Noon. Afternoon. Nighttime convection. I'm going to have to change convection from afternoon to nighttime now. So nighttime convection. Morning of the 4th. Noon. Afternoon. Nighttime convection again. Morning of the 5th. Still morning convection. Noon. The afternoon or convection. Nighttime. Still nighttime convection here. Not very intense, but here we are at night. Usually it dissipates at night, but here it is still around. Then we go into the morning. It dissipates the morning of the 6th. There's the noon. Afternoon convection. Nighttime convection. Now, you see this deep low. This is a 979 millibar low. You see it has an arm coming in this way and an arm coming off this way. It's almost like a hurricane. It has this arm reaching back this way that's twisting this way. The whole storm is twisting this way. So you see this arm trailing and then this arm trailing, much like a hurricane. Okay. And there's convection going on, severe weather going on up here at the Canadian-Montana border up there. All right, so this is going to be different. It's not going to be in Tornado Alley. It might be scattered a couple of parts around here, but there's going to be other areas back up in here where we're going to see possible severe weather. And that'll be at nighttime on the 6th. So we go into the morning hours, noon. See this? Severe weather up in North Dakota now, up in Canada, way up there. Or the afternoon convection, nighttime convection. Again, nighttime convection on May 7th, Indiana, Ohio, up here in the Great Lakes region, all through up in there too as well. That'll be the morning of the 8th. Noon, afternoon, nighttime, morning of the 9th. Noon, convection, nighttime. Here we have nighttime convection again, May 9th. Out right here around Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina area. All right, so anything kind of past this is, very far out into the future. Stuff's changing, but as you can see, we have this, there's the afternoon. Let me go. We have this repeating theme of after or nighttime convection going into the morning hours. Very dangerous. Right here, we're the morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. See, there's still nighttime convection, but it's offshore, thankfully. A little bit back here. Morning of the 11th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 12th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 13th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 14th, noon, convection, nighttime. 15, noon, convection, and that was all the data. So right there's our next little event this morning, starting from now until the morning hours out there. Watch out in Tennessee. Probably no tornadoes or nothing, but you're going to have a little severe weather moving through there. Large hail, flash flooding. There's the noontime. There's the afternoon. So tomorrow afternoon, this almost like a low forming right here, this comma shaped up out here on the horn is going to be your activity right around Minnesota tomorrow afternoon. Then tomorrow night, into Minnesota and then back down into, we'll see these things popping up and trailing up like that probably through the nighttime hours. Then dissipating by the morning, tomorrow morning, well, the morning of the 1st, they go through the noon, afternoon, and then we have more nighttime convection. All right, so a lot of these days now, instead of having our thunderstorms and our severe weather at, during the afternoon and at sundown, it's a different type of convection. It's warm air colliding with cold air, causing a different type. It's no longer the sun boiling the air and causing clouds. Now the air masses are colliding, causing their own clouds in the darkness. So that's dangerous. Really dangerous. All right, so there's your forecast right there for the next few days. And we've seen now how things can change. Even when they don't have something forecasted, it could change. Or when you see something there, it doesn't necessarily mean this region. It could shift just a little bit and happen over there. Because none of this stuff is set in stone anymore. And there's another factor, the sun and all of its energy enhancing this. That factor, I don't think, is being added to the equation here. And if they knew precisely exactly how much, energy affects our weather and how much we have coming in, we could, calculate how much effect increase we would see in our weather. But for now, it's just basically recognizing that the sun's activity does enhance our weather. It does change things up. We do get this new type of bombogenesis where we see these lows dropping really low really fast. That makes storms intensify very quickly. So what looked like a little blip on the radar, 2 clicks later is now a big breathing monster, and then 2 more clicks later, it's already destroyed a town and moved on. So your genesis, the storm genesis, is happening faster as well. Okay, that's why it's important that you guys learn to read your skies. Watching these storm chasers, and they're talking about this and the downdraft and the wall cloud. It's good to know what a wall cloud looks like. It's good to understand how a downdraft and an updraft work, so you can go outside and evaluate your own weather with your own abilities, because pretty soon what happens when you can't have a forecast model or they're just not accurate anymore. You're going to the beach that day. It's important that you keep your eyes on the sky. If you see thunderheads building while you're at the beach that day, monitor their direction and their growth. And if they start growing and coming your way, know that at a certain time of the day, all that stuff will get to a certain height. And when the sun goes down, all that stuff is going to fall and come down to the ground. So you make your plans accordingly. You can see, you learn to read your local skies. You'll know, hey, this cloud's about to burst right now. Everybody go inside, take cover for a minute, let the cloud burst happen. And then once the precipitation's over, you can move on. Or wind event, any type of weather, okay? So it's just good to familiarize yourself with different cloud structures, what they mean, what they entail, and how to kind of assess your own weather with your own eye in your local area without a weatherman, without me, without models, without a spotter or a trained weather spotter. You need to become your own trained weather spotter. Okay? And we'll work on that. It's a fascinating science. Once you see it and you understand how things are working, you're like, wow, this stuff's kind of cool. All right, so that was about it for all of our geophysics, astrophysics, and weather, which is also geophysics. And then now we will get on to, actually, we're going to go True. Bookmarks. Let's pull up some images real quick. Cancel out some old instrumentation. Everybody get all comfy, relax, get ready for the reading. Do some breathing. Take a few minutes to. What did that one gone? All right. Take a few minutes here to relax while I get this set up here for a second, please. I tried setting all this stuff up before the show, but it eats up so much. My computer won't work very well. All right. So, weird object captured out by the moon. And when zoomed in on it, the object is a face. Now what? Yeah, we got a big old face out by the moon. Problem is, it's my face. I'm like, what? Why is my face showing up out by the moon? All right, so we're going to pull up a couple of images here. We can even go through some of these favorites real quick, because some of you guys like getting caught up in the clouds. Real stuff. Oh, here, let's watch. This one is, this face started off as a broken heart, and it slams together. Can you see that broken heart with the rip down the middle and then it clap together and make a face? So broken heart now turned into a spiritual entity. That was interesting. Then we got the butterfly man here who's reaching out. We got this guy saying peekaboo. He's got his eye is underneath this cloud right here, and he lifts up his, it's like a paw or something. And he's peekaboo, showing you his eye. Some beaked creature or whatever. You can see the feathering or the eye. This one, the Revelation 12 baby, or the labor pains. Because you see her eyes and her mouth open. She's screaming when she goes, has a labor pain. Right up here, her face, her eyes, and her mouth. Some kind of alien type head. Don't ask me why. This is just what I capture. The spiritual realm's a little different. They're characters. So if you weren't in flesh, you'd be a character, right? Well, much like cartoon characters, here's this like bozo type character with the big long nose and big ears, and the Jerry the mouse type character lifting his eyelids open, forcing him to look. And when he sees, he sticks his tongue out. Right? Just crazy, crazy, weird stuff being all happening in your skies all the time. Happens all around me everywhere I go. And after a while, it's hard not to be caught up in the clouds. Once you've captured something like this, you're like not obsessed, but you're fascinated. You're caught up in the clouds and what you're capturing. And it can be, rewarding sometimes when you capture real stuff. And for those that are capturing real stuff, now you've gotten your answer. You know that I'm not faking this, that you're capturing your own. You're like, uh-oh, that makes mine legit as well. So it's important that you try to capture your own, understand that these are real, that this is what's going on. This event that I keep showing you happened on Easter. This is a 2,000-year-old prophecy come true. look up, you will see him coming in the clouds. All right, so there he is in the clouds, right? Now, when you see this, you are caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds, and you are caught up with me in the clouds. You are here with me in the air of cyberspace. Okay, so you're caught up in the clouds with me. You've met me in the air. We are live right now. So that's live in the air. All right. And you're in my presence. Think about that. You're in my presence at this very moment. Okay. I'm going to read to you guys here. Important stuff for you. Building character. Giving you guys strength. Intestinal fortitude. Some hope. Some peace. Some strength. You get a little bit of everything out of this, don't you? So, like we do, take a couple of deep breaths. Excuse me. Yes, and come to me for rest and refreshment. The journey has been too much for you, and you are bone weary. Do not be ashamed of your exhaustion. Instead, see it as an opportunity for me to take charge of your life. Remember, I can fix everything into a pattern for good, including the things you wish were different. So start with where you are at this point in time. Well, this point in time and space, okay? Accepting that this is where I intend you to be. Start with where you are at this point in time and space, accepting that this is where I intend you to be. You will get through each day, one step, one moment at a time. Your main responsibility is to remain attentive to me, letting me guide you through the many choices along your pathway. This sounds like an easy assignment, but it's not. Your desire to live in my presence goes against the grain of the world. It goes against the grain of the world, against the grain of the flesh, against the grain of the devil. Okay? You live in a world of lies. In a world of lies, the truth sounds crazy, doesn't it? Okay, remember though, I fit everything into a pattern for good. The world, the flesh, and the devil all go against my presence. So much of your weariness results from your constant battle against these opponents. However, you are on the path of my choosing, so do not give up. Hope in me, for you will again praise me for the help of my presence. I am above all things. That means your problems, your pain, and the swirling events of this ever-changing world. I'm above all things. Okay? Up here, out by the moon, I'm above all things. Your problems, your pain, and the swirling events from this changing world. When you behold my face, you rise above circumstances and rest with me in heavenly realms. I would say out by the moon, kind of a heavenly realm. Wouldn't you? There we go. It's a little bit bigger. Okay, there's a heavenly realm right there, too. I am above all things, your problems, your pain, and the events around the world. And when you behold my face, you rise above the circumstances, and you find rest with me in the heavenly realms. This is the way of peace, living in the light of my presence. I guarantee that you will always have problems in this life, but they must not become your focus. When you feel yourself sinking in the sea of circumstances, cry out, "Help me, Jesus, please help me," and I will draw you back to me. If you have to say that 1,000 times daily, don't be discouraged. I know your weakness, and I meet you in that very place. Okay? One of my favorites that I constantly, all day, not every day, but some days, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Grant me the serenity to accept things that are out of your control. Once you do that, you relinquish control to me and you feel better. You're more at ease. Okay? If you have to say it 1,000 times, don't be discouraged. Every time you say it, you're reaching towards me, and I know your weakness, and I meet you in that place. Yeah, seek my face more and more. Because the more you seek it, and the more you understand this, the more, oh boy, the more you guys are blessed. So, seek my face more and more. You are really just beginning your journey of intimacy with me. It is not an easy road, but it is a delightful privilege. It's a delightful, privileged way to live. It's a delightful treasure hunt. A delightful, privileged treasure hunt, and I am the treasure, and the glory of my presence glistens and shimmers along the way. So hardships are part of the journey too, and I hand them out over ever so carefully in just the right dosage with a tenderness you can hardly imagine. So do not recoil from afflictions, since they are among my most favored gifts. Trust me and do not be afraid, for I am your strength and song. Don't recoil from your afflictions. We're going to deal with them. We're going to take them on, face head on. Okay? That way they won't be afflictions. You can overcome them. What was this next one? Okay, so trust is very important. The more you seek me, and then the more you trust me, if you trust me enough to spend ample time with me, pushing back the demands of your day, then refuse to feel guilty about something that is so pleasing to me. Okay? So trust me enough to spend ample time with me, pushing back the demands of your day. Okay, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of demands going on your day, and when you're caught up in those demands and it's too much, take a break and spend a little bit of time with me and refuse to feel guilty about something that's pleasing to me. All right? When you take a break and you're spending it with me, don't feel guilty about that. Okay, so since I'm above all these circumstances, I can see everything from a different view. I have a different way. I'm able to bend time and events in your favor. Okay? I'm able to bend time and events in your favor. You will find that you can accomplish more in less time after you have given yourself to me in rich communication. Also, as you align yourself with my perspective, you can sort out what is important and what is not. So don't fall into the trap of being constantly on the go. There are many things and people. Many things people do in my name have no value in my kingdom. So to avoid doing meaningless works, stay in continual communication with me. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go, and I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Okay, yeah, that's our next one. Okay, so strive to live more fully in the present, refusing to worry about tomorrow. And striving involves devoting serious effort and energy to something, okay? So when I say strive to live more fully, well, devote some effort, devote some serious effort and energy into living more fully in the present. So every time something's you're future tripping, refuse to worry about tomorrow. Strive to live more fully in the present. It's hard. It's kind of hard because you must exert continual effort if you want to live in the present tense in my presence. So I urge you to make me the major pursuit of your everyday life. It's essential to resist the temptation to worry. You live in a fallen world that's full of sin and struggles. You will never run short of things that can provoke anxiety. So remember that each day has enough trouble of its own, doesn't it? I think now at this point we really kind of grasped the fact that each day already has enough trouble of its own. I don't need to be tripping about tomorrow. I got enough on my plate today. It's provoking anxiety. Right? So you will never run short of things that will provoke anxiety. Just remember that each day has enough trouble of its own. Okay? I carefully calibrate the amount of difficulty you will encounter on a given day. Whoops, what? Yep. I carefully calibrate the amount of difficulty you will encounter on each given day. I know exactly how much you can handle with my help. I'm always near, and I'm always ready to strengthen, encourage, and comfort you. So, pursuing a close walk with me is the best way to live in the present. Keep bringing your thoughts back to me whenever they wander. Return to me joyfully, and I will take great delight in you and rejoice over you with singing. You guys are awesome. I sing about you guys, how awesome my audience is. Okay, so we've been doing a lot of work lately, right? And you guys are figuring this out, so you are ready for anything and equal to anything through your living relationship with me. Did you just catch that? You are now ready for anything. You are now equal to anything through your living relationship with me. A living relationship, by the way. Hi. Yeah. How are you going to prove God's real? Well, when he shows up in the flesh. Yeah. And you guys have a real relationship through this channel, don't you? A real living relationship with me. So rest in my presence while I infuse inner strength into you, because you are a child of the King of Kings. You are capable of so much more than you realize. To benefit fully from your privileged position, you need to spend ample time with me. As you relax in my presence, delighting in me and opening your heart to me, I fill you with inner strength, don't I? This time spent together is not only pleasurable, but it's empowering. I fill you with inner strength. This time spent together, these readings spent together, is not only pleasurable, it is empowering. Key word on the word is, not empowering. It is empowering. Inflection on the is. There is much to do. It's tempting to rush through your time with me and dive into the activities of the day, but just as eating a healthy breakfast helps you function at your best, so does feeding your soul a healthy diet of me. Many people are sitting there working out and doing all these workouts, and they got their muscles rippling, they got their six packs, and they have no spiritual, healthy diet of me. They're dead inside. So, just like eating breakfast or working out, so you also need a healthy diet of me. Bask in my word. Ask my spirit to make it come alive to you. Maybe that's where somebody missed out. They forgot to ask my spirit to make it come alive to them. Because this stuff does come alive to you. Savor these words of life. Your living relationship with me helps you approach each day with new confidence, ready for anything that comes your way now, because you are ready for anything and equal to anything through your relationship with me. Now you can approach each day with confidence. Stop incessant worry planning. Draw your mind back from the future to the present moment, where my presence lovingly awaits you. Seek my face with a smile in your heart. A smile in your heart. See the little smile on the cat face right there at the end? Can you make your heart smile? Yeah. Draw your mind back to me. Seek my face with a smile in your heart, knowing that I take delight in you. Talk with me about all that concerns you and the tasks. Excuse me. Talk with me about all that concerns you and the tasks that are weighing you down. Call out to me for help as you set priorities according to my will. Then keep returning your focus to me and to the work at hand. Inviting me into your activities increases your joy and helps you to be more effective. Okay? I know it's hard, but keep returning your focus back to me and the work at hand. Invite me into those activities. When you invite me into everything, it increases your joy, not mine, your joy. This is for you. It's not about me feeling invited to the party and left out. No, when you invite me, it helps you. It increases your joy and helps you be more effective, more confident, more courageous, just everything. Everything that you've been looking for. So, when you need to take a break, remember that I am your resting place. My everlasting arms are always available to support you and hold you close. When you relax in my company, waiting with me for a time, this demonstrates genuine trust. It demonstrates genuine trust in me. So, when you relax in my company, in my everlasting arms, you really have true peace. And it demonstrates your trust. So as you prepare to return to your tasks, Make the effort to include me in your plans, and this protects you from worrying, and it also helps you stay close to me, enjoying my presence. Okay? We're doing all of this together. Everything that you're seeing through your eyes, I see it too. Everything that you're experiencing in your heart, I feel it too. Every emotion, I can feel it too. All right? So I'm right there with you. So when you prepare to return to your day after this show and you go back to looking at news and all the other junk in the world, make the effort to include me in those things, and it'll protect you from worrying, and it'll also help you stay close to me, enjoying my presence. It's important that you guys understand my presence. I'm here. I'm a real man in the flesh. They're all going to find out here real soon. You guys are got the lowdown before. And I'm also training you too, okay? I'm training you not only to endure your difficulties, but to transform them into glory. You are going to endure your difficulties. You are going to transform your difficulties into glory or strength, right? You overcame a difficulty. Next time when it comes around, it won't be that scary. It won't be that problem. You've already overcome it. So endure your difficulties, but transform them into glory. Now, this is a supernatural feat, and it requires the help of my supernatural spirit. So when problems weighing heavily on you, your natural tendency is to speed up your pace of living. You do this, when problems are weighing on we speed up our pace of living, frantically searching for answers. But what you need at such times is to slow down and seek my face. Very, very hard to do. We get so riled up inside sometimes. I know, because I do too. Okay? That it's hard to actually stop and focus, regain your composure. You need to slow down and seek my face. Invite the Spirit to help you as you discuss your difficulties with me. Then lay down your request before me and wait in expectation. Even though you wait expectantly, I may not answer your prayers quite as quickly as you thought. Even though you wait expectantly, I may not answer your prayers quickly. I'm always doing something important in your life, far beyond simply solving your problems. See, there's other stuff going on in the background. I'm doing something important in your life that's far beyond simply solving little problems, okay? Your struggles are part of a much larger battle, and the way you handle them can contribute to the outcomes with eternal significance. So when you respond to your troubles by trusting me and praying with thanksgiving, you glorify me, and moreover, your practice of praying persistently will eventually make a vast difference in you. Okay? Your practice of praying persistently will eventually make a vast difference in you. I think that might go into the next one. Yeah. Just a little bit more. There is, okay, your guilt-free status now as my follower is good reason to be joyful each day of your life. Ever since the fall in the Garden of Eden, mankind's worst problem has been sin. My sacrificial death provided the solution to this terrible problem. The gospel really is the best news imaginable. I took your sin, I became sin for you, and I gave you my perfect righteousness. Now, this is an amazing eternal transaction. I want you to learn to enjoy more fully your guilt-free standing in my kingdom. Through me, the law of the Spirit of life has set you free. Okay? Now that you understand me, the Spirit of life, the law of the Spirit of life has set you free. Okay? Now, it's not an invitation to dive into a sinful lifestyle. Instead, I'm inviting you to live jubilantly, reveling in reveling in the glorious privilege of belonging to me forever. Okay, this is your true identity, and it makes every moment of your life meaningful now. Rejoice in knowing who you really are. You are a beloved child of God. Do you hear me? If you're still here at this moment, you really are a beloved child of God. The law of the Spirit of life has set you free. You are caught up with me in the clouds. You met me in the air over YouTube and cyberspace. You've got this new feeling inside your heart. You're able to overcome obstacles with this knowledge in the back of your head now and in your heart now, right? So when you do that, you are ready for anything and equal to anything through your living relationship with me. We have a living relationship now, don't we? How could you be a living God if you're not in the flesh? If you're alive, you're in your flesh, right? It's when you die that you leave your body. You're no longer in the flesh because you're dead. So the opposite of dead would be alive, which would mean in the flesh. So if we have a living God, that means I'm alive in the flesh. And the world's going to find out that God is real. It's not just a theory. It's not just a story. He's a person. He's a person who loves you dearly. Okay? I love you all. I miss you all. Wait a second here. Oh, didn't know what a spiritual attack was, huh? Well, guess what? Now you have tools to use against these spiritual attacks. Okay? Because they're real. And they're coming at you through people. Okay? Through your loved ones as well. So now that you know this advanced knowledge, you can't hate your loved ones. They know not what they do yet, right? You're going to have to do a lot of forgiving because these people don't know yet. Their lack of knowledge, they know not what they do. But you now have advanced knowledge. You are now a child of God, a messenger, a carrier of the Holy Spirit. You are caught up in the clouds. You have technically, there's no term raptured in the Bible. The word rapture is not in the Bible. It is a description of being caught up in the clouds. Well, caught up means you're caught up in the moment. There's something so fascinating. You're just staring at it. You're caught up. You're caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds, and you're caught up with me in the clouds. You met me in the air of cyberspace. You're raptured, that feeling of knowing now deep in your heart. That's what a rapture is. It's not floating up into the clouds. It doesn't say anything about floating up through the air in the Bible. It says you will meet him in the air. Well, this is the airwaves, cyberspace. You met me in the clouds. The clouds are in the air. There's another definition that could be possible right there, too. It's just not the way Hollywood portrayed it. It's be thankful that it's not the way Hollywood portrayed it, too, because it wouldn't be exciting. It would just be, I've seen that movie already. Okay. Well, the real deal is right here. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. And I am still to come. And I'll see you next time.